Beautiful bad bitches who I love and admire dearly. Hello, good morning. It is a fucking Wednesday, my dudes. I'm gonna get right to the chase. Having a crush on someone is so fucking vile and disgusting and disturbing, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because bad bitches like me get nauseous when someone likes us back. You wanna know why? Because we can't tell if it's real or not, and we can tell it's gonna hurt. Like, for example, imagine you like someone and you're like, oh my god, the sparkle of their eyes, I love their beautiful, like, very nice, warm, kind, friendly, flirty, rich brown eyes and the mischievous sparkle in them, and oh my god, something about the way they just exist, like their charms, their eloquence, their attitude, the jokes they say, the way they make me laugh, the way they seem to show and reciprocate care back to me. And oh my god, the cute little pout they have, and that dimple on their face, and their really nice jawline, and oh, that tan, and the flowy brown hair they've got, and oh my god, how is their head shape even attractive? I don't, like, what the fuck is that? Nigga looks like a sexy rounded pentagon. I love that shit. And then just like, I don't know, you'll meet someone and you'll just be like, they are fucking hot. I love their thick, luscious thighs. I love their baseball player ass. I think about them when I first wake up and I smile, and I think about them before I go to bed and every time I bust a nut, and they are amazing and I want them, and I want to know how soft their hand feels intertwined with mine, and I want to know everything about them. And you will feel such heavenly and maybe even borderline ravenous feelings that you will be so scared. And then the tragic part is, if that person were to come into your life and be like, hey, actually, I think you're cute too. Some of us don't feel happy. Some of us feel fucking dread. And you know why? Because it's like, oh, are they gonna like me back? Do they like me, or do they just like the image they think they have of me? And they have put me on a pedestal in their mind that I can never truly live up to. So I will have to go the whole duration of knowing them, just waiting for the other shoe to drop for them to finally fucking leave before they're like, oh, never mind. Tamia isn't just like some beautiful girl with a sweet personality and charm who is nice to me and is some amazing Madonna. She has a past, she has trauma, she has a future, she has goals, she has this and that and the other. And it's fucking tricky because a nigga will think he likes you, and then and then just one day you could just post one meme or have one conversation, or just because he can just vanish. And it's like, then he'll make you feel stupid because he, like, oh, you believe that he liked you just because he said he liked you, and just because he showed he liked you, and just because he was constantly around you. How dare you think that someone could actually like you? Despite all this, I still recognize the other person as the problem. It just is one of those things where it's like, nigga, you are ruining this for me. Niggas ruin this shit. Some of us want to have innocent, wholesome loves, you know? Or the worst thing is, what if you like someone and then you like them too much? To the point of an obsession. Me, I have a lot of backstories with obsession. Trust me, I've been threatened with restraining orders plenty of times in my life by men, and funny enough, that has still not stopped them from eventually trying to come back and get back with me. Because they're fucking dumb, and also, I don't know, pretty privileged and all that shit. But I'm just saying, the point remains is that liking someone can bring a lot of issues, especially if you have any mental illness or problems. Because then it's like, here's someone I really fucking like, and everything about them. Like, they'll just kind of be burning in the back of my mind all day, every day. That is not healthy. I recognize that. I have done a lot of steps and a lot of work to try to mitigate that so that it does not get so intense for me. Some people try to push past the boundaries. And I'm working on cutting off those people as soon as it fucking happens. Because it's like, bitch, I said what to do and what not to do. If you fuck up the confines of my boundaries because you want to feel extra special when you're already being made to feel special in a way you haven't ever before, then simply put, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And if I can't beat the shit out of you, God knows what's going to happen to you. And plenty of people have already lived to fucking experience that. But let's not go too much into it. Anyway, I don't know. There's also just, in the most simplest way possible, some of us get scared when it comes to love because it's like, imagine you like someone and you like them back, and it's like a mutual thing. You're just gonna be thinking, this is gonna hurt so bad when it ends. Like, some of us are okay with staying in the confines of will they, won't they? Because it's like, you can admire the way they smirk at you and the seeming amount of love they have for you in their eyes, and the way they hold your hand when you cry. That rhymes, that's a bar. And then you can enjoy the fact that, like, when you cuddle them from behind, you fit perfectly like little Russian nesting dolls. And you enjoy the fact that you have so much in common and maybe even some similar life goals, and you can really see something with them, but you still know most love ends in two things: heartbreak or marriage. And that's a lot of pressure. So if you're an anxious person who gets attached easily, you might think, is this person going to be the one I'm going to marry? Is this end game? Is this what I truly want? Are they what I truly want? Am I what they truly want? Oh my god, what if they're nothing like how I think? What if I'm putting them on a pedestal? What if this is bad for me? Maybe I'm a sick little freak and I should stay away from them because I don't want to be obsessive. I don't want to be gross. I don't want to get hurt by being the one who is all you know Gasai in this bitch. And if you don't get that reference, what I'm saying is you don't want to be the one who cares too much, who feels too deeply, while the other person has the chance to eject you and make you feel scared and make you feel rejected and unloved and stupid and foolish. And it hurts. And trust me, I know that. It fucking hurts, damn it. Ugh. I will say this though. Also, sometimes the rejection part. And then, like, I don't know, I think I've said more than enough. This actually happened to me with that fling I had on Christmas. I remember that we both were anxious for the whole week. Like the first day that we met up, it was so great. Aside from the obvious, of course, them attempting to essay me while I was drunk type shit. Not fun at all, obviously. But like everything else was so good, and we were drunk that it just kind of got brushed over. So that's why it's complex and has been for me to process it. Don't worry, I'm on the other side of things now. At least how I feel like. I'm not even sure if I want to bother making a video talking about the full situation in full, but I guess if I have the free time and feel like I can, then I might. But I think I fully hate that man now, where I don't even see it as a worthy use of my time. But maybe eventually I will feel comfortable telling all of you why it was so painful and beautiful. But I don't know. It felt like there was a mutual connection. And he showed me a certain type of, like, seemingly intentional care that not a lot of people had. He didn't have to do any of it, by the way. Like, mind you, it was supposed to just be meeting up for one day and, like, fucking or whatever. But instead, it was like, oh, hey, look, we're on our, like, fifth day of a hangout, or, like, fourth day of a hangout, and we're having such a good time together. We didn't even need to have sex with each other. We were just spending the whole time doing shit like watching the World Chase Championships, World Tag Chase Championships on TV, and like going out to get burgers late at night and taking walks around North Beach and enjoying the Christmas lights and seeing which parts of buildings we could like escape off to and explore. And like he was sweet. He was the type of guy that was like, oh, to me is being disrespected by a customer service worker. I'm going to let her know she did nothing wrong and also defend her against this guy and stand up for her to make sure she gets exactly what she wants and nothing less. Also, fuck him, I'm not tipping because they made her so upset. He was the type of guy praising me for estranging my family and saying that I was so incredibly strong and impressive to him that I was able to do that because not many people can, and even he was debating on doing so, but he didn't feel strong enough. And he seemingly liked everything about me. For all I know, it could have just been a mask and a facade from some amazing narcissist with an Oscar winning performance. Or it could have been a man who just really liked me that much. All I know is eventually, to spoil how this ends, I remember at some point we were just sitting down in the nice lobby of the little boutique hotel we were in. And I think we had been drinking sherry and eating the nice little peanut butter cookies they had that weren't very good, but still hit the spot in the right way where they were addictive. And we got to talking, and eventually we just kind of mutually confessed, like, feelings for each other. He was scared too, I was scared too, but I kind of could tell how he was feeling for a lot of reasons. And even then, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. So I just said, I have been scared this whole week because I've liked you a lot more than I expected I would. And I haven't connected with someone like this in ages. And I feel scared because it's supposed to just end, and it's just like an ominous waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for all of this to just go back to like everyday life and nothing, and not seeing you again, or maybe if you wanted to see me again and extend it, or what could even happen. And I told him, I was like, if I've seemed off for these past few days, it's not me being mad that we weren't able to, like, I don't know, get you hard or fuck or whatever. It's not me resenting you for not being able to have sex and give me what I want. It's me being so happy about you and your ability to, like, over deliver an amount of affection I hadn't felt all fucking year, or maybe in several, or maybe a fucking lifetime. Scary enough. And then I'm just supposed to go back to reality and pretend nothing's ever, that it didn't change the course of my life. And yeah, and he seemed like, it was cute. I noticed that he kind of blushed, and like he opened up and got really emotional too, and was holding my hand and smiling, and he eventually confessed too. He just, I don't know, he's one of those very, I don't know, I wouldn't say he's like super toxic masculinity, but he is still a dude. So, it was hard for him to open up emotionally for a lot of reasons, based in ego and whatnot, and fear of being seen as pussy or disgusting or pathetic. But he did. But it was funny. I remember I was crying when I was talking, and I said, "And I'm sorry if this is like gay as shit, but I think I have feelings for you." And it was funny, but he did similar. And I don't know, maybe he was just mirroring my actions, or maybe he felt the same way. But he did also start crying too. And he just was like, I don't mean to just seem like a total, like, fucking pussy right now. You probably think I'm pathetic as shit. And I said, no, no, it's fine. You're feeling your emotions. Just say how you feel. Of course, I'm not going to judge you. And he said, he just said that he has cherished every single moment he's had with me, and that he felt the same way, and that he also just, like, he did a whole bunch of things with me that he never imagined he could do with anyone, and how he had only in his lifetime had maybe like a total of like, what, like somewhat like 5, 9 dates, and none of them really went well, and he never really had any success in romance at all, and how like I was the first one to actually like have a candlelit dinner with him ever, and how that meant a lot to him, and it felt special. And he started crying as he talked about this and holding my hand, but he just was letting me know that, like, he just said it himself, tears in his eyes. He said, "You have made me feel very loved in such a short time period." And, you know, and then this is where it kind of gets sad. I'm a little embarrassed, and I'm not usually the type of person to get embarrassed. I've had stories on here where I talk about frozen avocado getting stuck to my pussy, or I don't know, like dudes getting their races stuck to my pussy, or the types of idiots I've let hit this pussy. Like, there's a lot of shamelessness with me, which I am not going to be ashamed of ever. But only in this instance will it kind of hurt to say what I'll say next, so I think I'll just spare myself and not say it. I'll skip to this part. He did communicate with me that he didn't see like a future with me. And I was drunk enough where I didn't take this too personally, even though it hurt. Because, like, mere seconds before, I remember I told him, hey, we could talk about this. Like, maybe we could see about, like, seeing each other casually, or maybe even dating, or, like, a future, or maybe even kids. And it doesn't have to end. It could be something. And I remember I went to the bathroom, and I felt so relieved. I was like, finally, I'm having a successful romance. And I came back, and then he was like, oh. And I remember I took a pretty large swig of my sherry and stuff. And I was like, hi, how are you? He was like, good. I'm gonna be honest, I don't see a future of marriage or kids with you. And I was like, and that hurt like a bitch, but it didn't hurt as much as it could have, because I was drunk. So, and I like, alcohol affects me greatly, so I was still in a good mood. And I was like, oh, okay, huh, well. And I kind of thought on it. I was like, makes sense. Because then it's like, yeah, let's just say he's the type of dude where he's like the 16 guns laying on top of an American flag in his house, despite him being British type. Like he's the it's sad if someone doesn't have kids to expand their bloodlines, and I want a woman to have five and have it be a natural birth, no C-section breastfeeding, and don't trust your government, live isolated in like Utah or Indiana or Texas type of guy. And he's very passionate about circumcision. Not he's not pro circumcision. Let's just say he said, I don't know. It's good that he's not pro circumcision. I'm not pro circumcision. Fuck circumcision. All my even though well whatever. Sorry, I'm getting a little off the topic. And then meanwhile for me, it's like well, also he's a Christian, or he wants to be a Christian, and it's like it kind of disgusts me. How do I put this? I respect Christians, but it's like he told me he was an atheist at first, and then later on admitted he wanted to become a Christian, and something about him refusing to look into any other ideologies because he wants just to follow a moral good. And I'm just saying, I can't name like I'm gonna say it. I haven't met that many good Christians, and I haven't been to that many good churches. Not to say they're not out there. I'm just saying I don't know. There's a lot. You don't inherently have to follow religion to be a good person. You could just, I don't know, whatever. But that's just how I feel. And then, well, simply put, if you've been here for a while, you know how I am as a person. I'm perfectly fine, like, dying alone with, like, fucking 16 Maine Coon cats. Oh, that sounds heavenly. I'm allergic to cats, but that still sounds heavenly. And I would just spend all my time like traveling or gardening or having koi ponds or being like the neighborhood like loved beloved old lady where you can come for like some nice tea and cookies and always make conversation, you know? That's how I feel. And then like oh, and like if I had a kid, I'd want like one or two. If I did have something like five, they would all have to be very spaced out because I don't want to repeat the mistakes of my mother and have a bunch of kids at once and then have favorites and bullshit and stress because I forgot that it's not just like a cute accessory, it's like it's a toll on my body, my finances, my health. And it's also five entirely unique human beings who can all have five extremely unique experiences and whatnot. And amongst other things, like yeah, let's just say me and him had a lot in common, but still at a certain base level. It's like I'm a city girl, he's a isolated farm guy. You know, he wants homeschooled kids. I am not let's just say there's enough differences potentially politically, but especially like religiously and whatnot where I couldn't be too hurt at him saying that. I actually let it roll off my back pretty well. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, no issue with that. But then he did clarify. He was like, he was very confused. And, you know, he's a man who likes regimen. He likes following a strict schedule. And he is very stern on what he likes in his life. And he's very stubborn about what he wants out of his future. I'm not going to shit on someone for that. Trust me. I'm like, me of all people, if you know what you want and you don't want to settle for less or risk fucking up your future, that makes sense to me. But he did say that he had, like, despite how he couldn't really see, like, an intense future with me off the bat, he still had never felt, like, a connection with me, like, ever in his life before. So now he's been feeling scared and conflicted on what to do. Because also he knew, like, ah, shit, she just wanted a one night stand. And here we are, like, instead of it being like a one night stand and never seeing each other again, it's been like a week of like us being endlessly in each other's presence and acting like we're some adorable newly married couple or something. Like, holy shit. And he also was worried, like, I don't want to fuck things up by admitting I have feelings for her. Despite me communicating very well multiple times before and during our meetup that if he ever caught feelings for me, he could just fucking tell me. I don't know. He is a wonderful guy in a lot of ways, but sometimes he's not the. I don't know. Let's just say maybe it is good that we stopped talking because that is a certain level of stupid that I don't like. But it is still cute in a sense. It's like, I like her so much that I'm losing all common sense. And he told me that, and I remember that he straight up told me that it's like, despite him not seeing a practical future with me because we have such divergent goals, he also just had an undeniable feeling that he didn't want to let me go and he didn't want to lose this and that this was something that he probably should let go of because it wouldn't go anywhere, or at least in his mind it wouldn't. But he also doesn't know if he'll meet someone like me again and wants to like keep me in his contact and stuff. and like really, really has adored my presence and just re-clarified how loved I made him feel. Something I thought of today though that did make me upset is I thought to myself, huh, he didn't say, like, he said I made him feel very loved. I don't know if I can, like, I don't know. He didn't say if he reciprocated those feelings fully, but I don't know. Then again, am I just a total dumbass? Because let's just say every other waking moment he was showing me. Like, he was damn near treating me as if I was his bride to be, as if I was going to be the woman he was going to be with for the rest of his life. And it felt amazing. And if you're like, hey, Tabia, isn't it insulting that a man doesn't see a future or marriage or kids with you, but then also wants to keep you around because he's addicted to you? I'll put it to you like this. Have you ever watched Bridgerton? We all know about the season with Kate, right? About like the bitch ass older brother and then like the hot Kate woman, and how he was gonna marry Edwina because Edwina seemed like, it's like, okay, she's mindful, she's demure, she's quiet, she looks good, and she will make me look in high society. But then he kind of decided, you know what, fuck this shit. I would much rather. Like, it took him a while, but he kind of had to realize, like, never mind, the person who I am obsessed with and want and cherish and I want to chase after and who I truly, deeply have intense feelings after is Kate. The one who is more reckless and wild and brash and abrasive and this, and that. That's who he wanted. And that's who he got. And then they had lived happily ever after, and he eats her pussy on the TV show and stuff. It's great. So I guess I just figured he has a mindset like that because we had a perfect synergy that really clicked. At least I felt like it. But either way, let's just say I don't know where I want to go next with this. Let's just say I remember the conversation was still mostly light, but then at some point, let's just say we couldn't quite see eye to eye on certain things, and I don't want to talk about it too much more, else I'm going to get really sad. Let's just say we can guess how it went, considering we have seen how my mental health has been for the past, what, 3 weeks? Yeah, not good. And and then of course, after everything, I kind of processed a lot of this shit. And then also the bad that happened got processed. And I was like, oh, I prayed for the perfect man and I got it, but not even he could be safe to me or like perfectly communicate or treat me amazingly. Or like he treated me amazingly, but it's still like I remembered what happened when I was drunk in that hotel room and he wasn't taking no for an answer. And on top of that, it's like the way he ended things. I even left him a voicemail recently, just kind of criticizing him. Like, you heard me say that I was not interested in something that would just be like a holiday hookup type shit. And how that wouldn't be healthy for someone like me because I need consistent friendship and stuff. And then, yeah, and then guess what? We were I remember I mentioned we could just try being friends and then whatever happens naturally could happen. But he's a stubborn man and he figured that if we did try to keep a friendship or any sort of anything going, that it would still like if it would either lead me on or he would get his hopes up for something that he still doesn't have a 100% feeling would work out. Just because he wants it to doesn't mean it would. And he's stubborn, and then that led to a bit of a spat. And then I remember we just focused on the rest of the day just being having fun with each other, not thinking about what our future or past would be, just being like, we are two people who like each other, let's enjoy this nice liking each other while we have it, and let's think about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. For now, let's just embrace the fact that we are two people who, I guess, have very strong beautiful emotions for each other. And yeah, it was a very nice light wholesome feeling. And I remember, from what I remember at least, we ended up staying in that lobby just drinking more sherry and eating more cookies and hanging out and being even more lovey-dovey and shit for until next thing you know it went from like 1 p.m. to like 9 p.m. hella fast. So then we got food and wine and we just and we got another night at the hotel. And yeah, but we know the story doesn't end too happy, so maybe I shouldn't be too happy as I say it because it's just making me sad. Let's just say things ended, and he pretended that there would be more. And he was like, this is not the end. This will never be the end. We're going to see each other again after this. This will not be our final time speaking. And you mean the world to me, and you deserve the best in life, and blah, blah, blah. And he said all these sweet things. And then I remember some time eventually passed. You know, he had time to process things, and so did I, but, you know, different things we were processing. And he just was like, oh, hey, I was thinking maybe we could meet up for, like, next time Valentine's Day or something. But he also was getting more cold and distant over text. And he became the very thing I didn't want. And then that hurt. And then it all hurt. And we all know what happens next. It all hurt. Let's just say it's really not good that he did that. So I left him a voice call like a few days ago, and I just was like, you knew what I wanted, and you knew what I didn't want. You knew that the last thing I wanted was for us to just be some meaningless fling. Or if it was, you didn't have to lie and pretend we were gonna ever see each other again and, like, have some sort of intense bond when really it would have been like 2 months before we would ever get to hang it. Like, no, sir. I can't, like, I didn't need to get my hopes up again. And it hurt. It hurt. And if you're like, why does it hurt, Tamia? Well, yeah, imagine you get done with a week-long beautiful hangout with someone who makes you feel things you haven't felt in fucking years, or maybe in a whole lifetime. And then it ends on, like, what, December 28th? And then eventually you hear that the next time you can ever be able to, like, speak or talk again could maybe be around Valentine's Day. Just a day to stroke their ego and maybe their cock and make them feel good. And you know, it's like, simply put, no, because I needed a friend. I needed consistency. I wanted someone to consistently care about me. I didn't just want to be disposed of, and if I was going to be disposed of, we could have just had it be, we hugged and said thanks for everything. It was wonderful to meet you. Have a nice life. And I probably would have been able to cope with that a lot better because it would have been clean, cut, dry, and expected. But no, he had to do so much more and allude to more and then offer me the same thing he heard me say that I could not handle, as if we were to just, like, be some sort of holiday hookup fling without any sort of real closeness or just getting my hopes up again. And that fucks me up. And it still does. God damn it. Yeah, okay. But yeah, simply put, yeah, he could have just, yeah, it could have just been an emotionless one night stand or an emotionless week. Or even if there were emotions, as long as they ended the second we parted ways. But no, he had to allude to more. And that disgusts me. And I know I will never see him again. And that's fine, I guess. Because I don't think I should. It wouldn't be healthy. And I've already done enough bad. And good. And all in between and all morally gray. I fucking hate that man. And I can even tell as I say that it's like I don't hate him in the sense of, like, wanting him to get, like, hit by a car or whatever. I hate him in the sense that it's like I can't tell if I hate that I ever met him, or I think I just hate how he ended things. I hate what he did in that hotel room. I hate the argument at the bus stop. I hate the weird lack of communication the whole week, and I hate his occasional abrasiveness that would occasionally come out, like, during rare moments. And I hate that I still love the way he smiled at me. Sorry. And I hate that I still think about how nice he looked. And I hate that when I think of something cool, that I can't show it to him, that we can't ever meet. And I hate that things had to be this way. I would have much preferred it if we ended up just being cut and dry, not alluding to anything more. And then it could have just been that. And yeah, it still would have hurt. Of course it would fucking hurt. But don't you think it hurt fucking more? To think I finally found someone who liked me back in the way that I liked them back. Fuck. Ah, I'm getting lightheaded. I didn't drink much water today. But yeah, don't you think it would have hurt a lot fucking less? I could have just been like, thanks for an awesome 5 days. Had a great time. Amen. And instead, it was, oh, I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna keep acting as if we're going to have some sort of like sweet friendship and that we're gonna be in consistent contact and I'm gonna care about you. He could have spared me. And he chose not to, and he chose to abandon me, and I hate all that there is to this. And I hate that it's still so complex. So yeah, I don't even need to share any more stories because this was gonna be a 6 minute long video, but yeah, that's the perfect example of why some people are afraid to love. Because here we were, both scared to confess feelings for the other, and then what came from it? We didn't live happily ever after. We didn't stay friends. We didn't stay in positive contact. Nothing good came from it, aside from a temporary euphoric high and a little bit of an ego boost. And then guess what? Immense destruction of the self and of each other. And it's like the stakes are too high when you have emotions. You could, like, I don't judge him too hard for certain decisions he made. Because love can make you do wild things. It can make you almost consider sacrificing your future of some sort of idyllic life on a nice isolated plain of land in Indiana with your nice Christian family and 5 kids because you're in love with some city girl who has mental illness issues and really, 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 really likes you and seemingly you do to her. It can make you sacrifice your happiness. It can make you envision marriage and kids and a future with someone very quickly in a short amount of time. It can make you do crazy things. It can make you scared. Like hell. And if I remember even telling him, like, hey, I had the same happen as you, but you don't have to picture marriage and kids with me. You could just date for the sake of liking me. And he said, yeah, but it feels like it would be a lie. It feels like even if it were to go completely amazing in the way that I like it would still be a lie because I would know that it would be going nowhere, and I can't afford to do that to myself. So I can't hate him for that specifically. There's plenty of other reasons to hate him, and they're all great ones. But yeah, funny how I tried to just have an emotionless one night stand where I couldn't get hurt, like, and that I could control it so that there was no chance of rejection, no chance of pain or heartbreak or unnecessary sadness, and what the fuck did I get? Sexually assaulted, or at least attempted to. No, it counts as sexually assault what he did with his mouth, yeah. And then I also got a bunch of great memories with someone who I now have to repress from my mind. Uh, what else did I get? I got endless nights of crying. I have photos printed of us that he will never see, and that I will just hide until the end of time, because every time I see them, I get sad again. This shit is exactly why people don't like crushes. Because sometimes you can meet someone and you're so caught off guard by how much you like them. And like I said, it can end in marriage and love and an amazing future, or it can end in heartbreak or rejection or trauma or pain. Or, and even if it goes incredibly well, it can still end in pain. So some of us don't like crushes because we could just look at the most beautiful, fucking amazing person in front of us, and whether or not there's a future, there's just still an underlying feeling of fuck. This one is gonna hurt especially bad, isn't it? Whether they're around for the long run or not. This is gonna hurt. Alright, bye.